Video will take you through how to use Geogebra to do translations and reflections, and this just is a video walking you through the worksheet that I passed out in class. So if the worksheet is easier to follow than the video, feel free to use that. So the first thing you need to do is go to geogebra.org, like so. And when you get there, it will give you a screen that looks like this. The first thing that I would recommend is to sign in using Google, but do be advised it's going to have you make a profile and all of that. So if you'd rather skip that for now, that's fine, because it'll need you to do like a confirm your email and all of that. So you can do that or skip it. If you do sign in and set up an account, then anything you make on GeoGebra you can save. So in the future it might be useful, but for now it's fine to just click Start Graphing. So you will start graphing, and your screen should look like this. We're going to begin with a translation. So you don't need this keyboard, you can make it go away. And we want all of our geometry tools, and those are located right here in the middle. So you're going to click on Tools, and there are a bunch of tools here which you can go home and play with if you want, but there aren't even the tools that we need here. So you have to scroll all the way to the bottom and click on this More. So you'll click on More, and then we get even more tools. So the first thing we're going to do is draw a polygon. And so if you come down, nope, I went too far. Here we go. There's this polygon tool. So if you click polygon, it kind of tells you at the bottom what to do. It says select all vertices, then first vertex again. And so I'm going to just place, I'm not going to make it too big, but maybe I'll do, I don't know, maybe I'll make like a little house. Let's see. Something like this, but I'm going to make it a funky house. Okay, it's a pentagon. You have to click back on your original point for it to finish the polygon off. At this point, whenever you use a tool, I always recommend clicking back here because this is the move tool. If I click anywhere else on my screen, it still thinks I'm building a polygon, and so it's going to build a new polygon if I click somewhere else. So click on the new tool. That way I can move this polygon around. I can change its color. If I want to make it purple, I can make it purple. You can click on individual pieces. So right now I've selected this line, and you can make that line a different color. So you guys can play around with all these different things it can do later. In the meantime, what we're trying to do here is a translation. And so to do a translation, I need a vector. So if you come right above the polygon section, you'll find this vector tool. So you're going to click on the vector tool, and then, oh, I forgot to say something really critical. When you build your polygon, make sure you don't put any points on the X and the Y axes. Put them elsewhere, because if you put them on the axes, it'll stick those points to the axes and it'll mess things up. So if you did that by accident, just start over. Okay, now we're ready for our vector. Click on vector, and you need a starting point and an ending point of your vector. So I'm going to put a starting point here, and maybe I'm going to go 3 down and 1 to the left. I don't know why, that's what called to me. So there's my vector. I recommend, as you mess around with this today, to try to keep the endpoints of your vector on like corners of the grid, because it'll make the questions you have to answer a little bit easier. Okay, we've got our polygon, we've got our vector. Now we're going to translate. So if you come down here, you'll see all these transformation tools. We want to translate by a vector. So click here. And then down at the bottom, it'll say select object to translate, then your vector. So we're going to click in the middle of our polygon. You see it got selected. And then we're going to click in the middle of our vector. Wait till that little like hand tool comes up, click on the vector, and then boom, I have a new polygon. And what I can do if I want to, I'm going to immediately click back on this arrow so I don't screw anything up. I can click on this, I can change its color again if I want to. You'll notice it says A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. But the really cool thing is that you can now move your vector around to see how this will impact your translated shape. So maybe I want to take it to the right, or maybe I want it to go up, or maybe I want it to go to the left, right? Maybe I want them to overlap. So you can experiment. I just advise you when you're done and you're ready to submit this, make sure that both points of your vector are on corners of the grid so that it's easier for you to answer the questions. So what you're going to do is, and by the way, yours should look different from mine, right? I want you to make your own. Get to a place where you're satisfied with how it looks. Feel free to play around even with your shapes. It's not going to let me move my image around because it's a translation of the pre-image, but it will let me move my pre-image, and you can see that when I move my pre-image, it changes the image, right? It's still translating it by the vector. So I want you to make this look cool, like make a shape you like, do whatever you want to with your vector, just make sure that when you're done, both endpoints of your vector are on corners. So maybe I like that. So what I'm going to do is submit this into Google Classroom. And unfortunately, I can't show you how to do that. Maybe I can. Hold on. Let's see. Classroom. So when you go to Google Classroom, you'll choose this class. Oh no, I can't show this to you. Okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to grab a screenshot of this, and to do that on the Chromebook, you hit Control, Shift, and the little window change button at the same time. And when you do that, your screen will darken a little, and it will let you sort of select the part of the image that you want to share, and then it'll give you an option to copy it to the clipboard. So you'll go ahead and copy it to the clipboard, and then you will paste it into the Google Doc that's with this Google Classroom assignment and answer 3 quick questions about it. And then when you're done with that, you're going to come back and do the rotation. So I would pause the video now, get yours submitted. Before you submit the assignment, though, you have to do a reflection. So pause the video, finish your translation, and then when you're ready for the reflection, come back. Welcome back. So I'm going to do my reflection now, and what I'm going to do is actually just go to geogebra.org again. I'm going to leave and not save it, and I'm just going to start the process over. So click Start Graphing. And we're going to do some reflections. We're going to do 4 of them. 1 across the x-axis, 1 across the y-axis, 1 across this diagonal line that goes like that, and 1 here. So the first thing you're going to have to do is actually graph those lines so that we have the lines of reflection to use. So before you click on these tools, we've got our little calculator. You're going to just type y equals x, and you'll see immediately that it makes a line there. It says on the worksheet that I want you to click on the lines to make them gray and dashed. So I'm going to go ahead and graph the other one as well. Y equals negative x is the other one. So I want them both to be gray and dashed. So to do that, you'll click on the line. I'm going to make it gray. I'm going to make it dashed. So pretty simple. Make it gray. Make it dashed. Okay, there are my lines of reflection. Then I'm going to come to my geometry tools, scroll all the way down and select more. So it'll give me all the tools available. I'm going to create another polygon, and for this one I really recommend a triangle because things are going to get kind of wacky. If you want to do something other than a triangle, that's fine, but I'm going to keep it really simple and make a triangle. Okay, so there's my polygon. I would make it small and I would put it in 1 quadrant. So there's my polygon. I'm going to click back on the move tool, and I can move it all around if I want to, and I can even like change the shape. Okay, so got my triangle. We're going to reflect it. You're going to do 4 reflections. So it says here to click on the Reflect About a Line tool. So you'll click there. At the bottom it says Select Object to Reflect, then select the line of reflection. On your worksheet it says first we're going to reflect it across the x-axis. So you've got to be careful with your clicking. You want to click here in the center of your polygon, and then you want to click on the x-axis, which is this guy. So you have to make sure you drag your mouse until it switches to a little hand. That's how you know you're in the right spot. You click, boom. The directions then say make it green. So I'm going to click on my move tool, click on the polygon, make it green. Part B says click back on the Reflect About a Line tool. So there, click on your original polygon, so we're going back here, and then we're going to click on the y-axis because we want to reflect it over the y-axis. So boom, and it did it. We're supposed to make this one blue, and it already is. Now, reflect your original polygon over the line y equals x. So back to the Reflect About a Line tool, click on your original polygon. This is the line y equals x. So I'm going to click on that, and there it went. I'm supposed to make that one orange, so click back on my arrow, click on the polygon, make it orange. And then our last one, click back here, click on your original triangle. This time we're going to reflect it across the line y equals negative x, which is this one. So again, make sure you get that little hand switch. There it is. And I'm supposed to make this one red. So I'm going to click back on my arrow, click on my figure, make it red. Okay, so I've done all of the reflections. I've done all 4. This was my pre-image, and then these are all different images of it. The last thing on the worksheet says move the points around on your original polygon, play around, and have fun. When you're happy with your design, save it, etc. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm already on my move tool. So I'm going to just play, because as I move this, I can get it to look pretty awesome. And I don't want it to be like that because it's hard to see what's going on, but you could do something like this if you like that, or all the way to the middle, or you could cross them a little like that. You can also stretch. It won't let you change anything other than your image, your pre-image. So we can stretch the image out and it'll stretch the pre-image out and it'll stretch all the others. You can do really cool stuff. So once you're satisfied with your design and you think it looks cool, you can zoom in, zoom out, whatever you need to do. Again, you'll do a screenshot like this. It'll copy it to your clipboard. You go back to Google Classroom in that same document, paste it in the correct spot, and then you can submit the assignment.